Good morning, and thank you very much. And this is the second year that I'm speaking here in this conference. And for me, as I said last year, it's not the usual forum that I'm speaking in. But, the new era is presenting to us challenges as well, and we have to challenge them. So I would like to present the regulation, how we view the risks themselves and what is happening in the market that we supervise them. I apologize again, English is not my mother tongue, so I will read my speech. I'm pleased to be here to present the activities of the Capital Market Authority concerning involvement of risk of the new era. Along with the tremendous opportunity presented by the digital revolution and the increase in cyberspace activity, it is of great importance to address the risks that are inherent in it. The world has already experienced extensive cyber attacks that hit critical infrastructure, stealing money or extorting ransom by programs that significantly disrupt routine business activity. The technological ability to dramatically disrupt the activity of financial institutions, which we supervise, has led us over the last few years to progress the readiness and preparedness of the institutional investors, which means insurance company, management companies that manage money and so on, to cyber events. This has been done by several means. In August 16, we published the Cyber Risk Management Circular, which outlined a very comprehensive regulatory framework for management of cyber risk. It went into force on last April. The circular, which came, requires to define a risk management policy, impose responsibility on all organization levels, starting with the board of directors, passing through management by way of initiating a steering committee and determining the appointment of designated cyber risk manager. It's a problem in the Israeli market currently, and to find people that are expert in cyber, it's not an usual task. So, I mean, there are people, but they are in the industry of the cyber itself. We found it complicated, the regulation, and for the last 2 years we are looking for some expert to the regulation itself, and still we don't have someone in place, but we ask it from the companies because I think that they can offer better conditions than we as regulators can. The financial entities are required, among other things, to establish a comprehensive risk management plan, an orderly risk assessment process, ongoing monitoring of risk and events, and the implementation of internal control and testing mechanisms to identify weaknesses in their system. The circular is a result of our view that cyber risk relates to all levels of the organization and may become realized in a wide range of scenarios. This risk requires systematic, technological, and procedural preparation, including awareness of employees and managers. Employees should be addressed of this risk, must be aware, they might be trained to realize the risk and to realize what the risks are, how to manage the risk, which means it's come from top to bottom, through all the organization itself. It is clear that part of the threats from cyberspace to financial entities in the State of Israel may be part of an overall campaign to harm vital elements of the Israeli economy by enemy states. In this context, we welcome the operation of the Israel National Cyber Directorate to identify and protect threats on a national level. To this end, we have already gathered the institutional investor to participate in the Center of Financial Continuity. Today, there are close to 20 institutional entities, insurance companies and management companies that are being connected to the national CERT, and we are confident that soon all industry, which we supervise, which means all insurance company and management companies, will join the CERT as well. It's very important. It let them share information between themselves to understand the events and what are the risks. For many years, we as supervisor are conducting ongoing audits to examine the conduct of institutional investors on a variety of issues, including information security. In the past 2 years, we have chosen to operate in a unique way, and we have carried out a series of internal and external penetration tests in order to identify weaknesses and gaps. This has proved to be very effective. Alongside the discovery of loopholes that were, of course, immediately corrected, I mean, if possible, but if not, it is on awareness of the company itself in its plan of how to protect its system. Market-wide audits that were communicated to the market further raised awareness of risk and its potential impact on functioning of companies, on their reputation, and on protection of customer privacy, which is very important when we speak about insurance company. The supervisor published a paper that described in details the main findings and recommendations for handling this issue. We have best practices that we published them, and we present these findings in a professional conference to cyber manager of the institutional investor. We think that information of the wide industry is very important to each of the cyber manager at the specific company. We continue to work on improving the institutional entities' preparedness for cyber risk in this way and in other ways as well. In the next November, we intend to conduct an emergency exercise for all institutional investors, which will simulate a cyber event. In this context, too, we are working closely with the National Cyber Network, and we are confident that this cooperation will raise the level of readiness of the entire industry as a whole. I would like to present to you some facts and data from evaluation assessment that we have done. We sent questionnaire to the institutional investor and asked them to fulfill the questionnaire in order to understand and to assess some figures of what is happening in the cyber risk management as a whole. So we see a significant increase in resources, and don't be surprised when I'm saying tens of percentage, because when you are starting for something very tiny and you make some increase, then there is a huge increase. But we see a trend of increasing in resources that are devoted to cyber risk management. They increased in the last few years. This increase is due both to regulatory requirements, but as well to the entities themselves understanding of the severity of the risk and the need to handle it in a proper way. The total budget invested in 2017 in cyber defense was 140 million shekel. Is it a lot? Is it a small amount? This is the amount, and we are going to follow it, but these are the amounts that were spent in the industry regarding cyber defense. We see an increase of approximately 40% in the number of positions allocated to cyber risk, which means that the companies themselves are hiring people that can handle cyber risk and situation. We see an increase of tens of percentage points in information and training budgets for employees themselves. I say it's very important to make sure that strategy and the business plan regarding cyber is coming from top to down, and it means that you have to train the employee themselves. We see increase of tens of percentage points in investment in defense and monitoring tools. We see an increase in cyber events identified. During the past 3 years, there was an increase in the number of cyber events identified by the companies. Is it because of a better awareness of the companies? Is it because the number of attacks is higher? It doesn't matter, but it says that the companies themselves have to tackle this risk and to know to handle it and to manage it as a whole. All this risk raise a need for insurance. So what about products of insurance? Cyber insurance is gaining momentum worldwide, and trends in Israel regarding the marketing of cyber insurance among insurance companies is growing as well. About 30% of the companies are marketing these products as a part of the insurance business, and I mean, first of all, it is to insurance themselves. They have a package to companies, business insurance to the companies themselves, and the cyber is becoming a part of this package to businesses. I know of few companies that are trying to target the private market as a whole. I mean, people have very important things that they keep in home. Everything is now, the smart TV, everybody has its laptop, its mobile, and so on, and they want to protect the information that they have. So companies are trying to develop, and we encourage this development of specific products to protect the consumer itself and not just the business. we don't see a huge number of products, insurance products that are sold by the companies, but I think that the awareness of businesses and private as well, because we know about ransom here and there, will grow and will raise the need for this insurance product. So we are looking forward for the two areas. First of all, to make sure that the insurance company, pension funds, management companies are ready to, first of all, they know and they are aware to the risk, and they are working on managing the risk. And this is in the entities themselves. And the second issue, because we are the one who approve products, is to offer products that there is a really need for them, if there is a need for them, in a specific manner, and the contract of the insurance itself, in order to protect the consumer as a whole. So we are looking forward, and from here I'm going to some exercise that we had in Finance Ministry, not really cyber, but again, how we protect if there is some events, to make sure the continuity of financial institution, even if there are events of cyber or other events. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you a fruitful conference. Thanks.